I am here with Tracy Contraband, the legendary Tracy Contraband. I can say that, you see, because I've known her quite a long time. Tracy, darling, tell me a bit about Hitt+Run.
Okay, Hitt+Run came to me about a year ago. They'd found me on a music jobs based site, and they were just interested in the fact my whole 90s, the fact I'd run successful label Contraband Records in the 90s.
So they were very impressed with that.
They were very impressed with that, but they liked the whole 90s feel and the 90s sound, and the fact we dropped everything down to half-inch and made it all analogue. So they kind of came to me.
They were looking for that sort of old
school sound. They found me, I didn't find them actually,
yeah.
So they came to me for management, yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant. I did want to know a little bit, before we talk about them, because I know I'm going to be talking to them pretty soon, but I wanted to ask you about that fantastic track, Aces High, featuring our friend, both of us sadly passed away now, Howard Marks, but it features the narrative of Howard Marks. How did that come about?
Okay, about 2010, I was co-managing a band called The Popes, which Paul McGuinness, who was the principal songwriter, the main man, was in, and he'd written this track especially for Howard, called Aces High, all about gambling. And he knew that I was very good friends with Howard, he knew that I was putting on shows with Howard. So he'd phoned me up one night and said, I know you've seen Howard in a couple of days, I've written this song for him, could you possibly persuade him to do the narrative? You know, kind of a la Richard Burton, War of the Worlds kind of thing.
Play it to him, see what he thinks, and hopefully he'll
play it.
Yeah.
So I kind of had this big pitch ready at the Grout Show a few nights later, you know, thinking how am I going to persuade him to do this? But he was definitely, I'll do it. One of his favourite bands were the Pogues and the Popes. So we then arranged that he was performing for me at Filthy McNasty's pub in Islington.
Wonderful venue, sadly gone but not forgotten.
Gone, yeah. So I said, how about if I pick you up from Pancras that morning, rush you down to South London to the studio, promise you a big posh lunch, and then we get you back to do the show in the evening. And that was how it happened. We took him down to the studio in the morning, come straight from the north of England, nailed the recording in about 3 takes. No time at all.
Yeah, good old Howard, he must have had a great time that day.
He's only requested that I keep him supply of
cigarettes.
cigarettes.
Well, yes, and sort of natural greenery.
Exactly.
Brilliant.
And that was it, and then so that was the recording done, and then the Popes put it on their album, New Church, which came out a couple of years later.
So that leads me into my next question, because I've got a feeling they must have heard that, but tell us a bit about The Gambler with Hitt+Run, how that came about with the boys.
Okay, well, so again, we were sitting around here one night, 6-7 months ago, 8 months ago, having a few drinks, and you know, the excuse of having a meeting really, but we're just probably having a few drinks.
That's pretty fast work if it was only 6 or 7 months ago.
It is. We had to move quickly.
It's very impressive.
We wanted to move quickly on this one, and so I said, oh, they'll go through my vinyl mainly. I said, oh, check this CD out, Pope CD, but check this track by Howard.
Yeah.
So we put it on, and I think Giles has heard it before, but Anthony was like, is that really Howard? I said, it is. I said, if you think you can do it, use his narrative. We couldn't get the original recordings of his narrative isolated from the rest of the music. But I could give them the CD and say, if you can take his narrative off there, do whatever you can with it. And I must give it to the boys, they completely nailed it and came back with the most awesome break stroke, grime stroke, however you describe it now these days, track with Howard, and I think really it works better in many ways than the original.
It's a bit special, I've heard
It's a bit special.
It's a bit special.
And especially given that was very much the style of music that Howard liked, you know.
Absolutely.
And played, you know, when he was out DJing, so yeah, all good.
Fabulous. Tracy Contraband. It only remains for me to say thank you for the music.
Sure. You're welcome, my pleasure. Cheers.
I am here with the lovely Giles and Anthony, who together are Hitt+Run. Now, guys, you are about to release your debut 140 EP, which features an amazing track called The Gambler. Now, I know that this track features the words of the late, great Howard Marks. And I think we should just have a quick toast to Howard, absolutely. So, guys, before we talk about that particular track, tell me firstly a little bit about yourselves and how you met and how you came to sort of form Hitt+Run. Anthony, I think we'll start with you.
When was that? We were at school together.
Southgate School.
There you go. Yeah, but we didn't. I mean, we made tracks before that, but on this project, Hitt+Run, it was mainly when I moved into the flat. When was that?
That must have been about, was it 2014, something like that?
Yeah.
It's about 2 years ago.
Yeah,
I mean, we met up, went for a drink. Basically had a massive rant about how electronic music was becoming very narrow.
Yes,
we wanted to do something different, basically. So
this was after you left school.
Oh yeah.
So when you met at school, so I mean, you obviously tell me a bit about what you were doing before you knew Giles, and then what you, because I'm imagining that you came together and thought, well, we could do something together. Were you more music and you were more?
Well, no, we were both doing our thing at school, as school kids do whatever they're told, you know what I mean, like subjects wise, but we always had that music thing, so we were always kind of like bunking off and going to like different parties and bits like that. And
but so you like the same kind of music?
Yeah, definitely into kind of electronic music, you know, that's what everyone was into. It was garage at the time, wasn't it? So
or garage, I used to call it. Very cool.
Then when I left school as well, I run a studio in Barnet. Where a lot of grime stars used to record at, people like Black the Ripper, So the Crew.
A few bits of Lethal B, right? Then he get some tunes
through the
studio, no?
He probably recorded there, a lot of people recorded there. So yeah, I mean, we had a big musical background from when we left school. Anthony was doing sound engineering as well. Rigging up gigs.
Fantastic. Well, yeah, that's got to help. So tell me a bit about your music now, like the sort of music that Hitt+Run are doing. What can you tell me about that particular type of music?
The style is, well, I come from a drum and bass jungle background. Giles comes from kind of like more housey and grime background because of the people that he was working with at the time. I was DJing in a lot of clubs in Brighton, doing a lot of drum and bass jungle. But it has that whole kind of elements of kind of dubstep with it as well.
Right.
And we just kind of wanted to take it back from the drum and bass that you hear now. We want to take it slower, more like a hardcore break scene, the old school 90s vibe, but even newer punch.
Good times.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Good times.
You can dance to it without getting too tired.
Tell me about it. I was there. So look, we've got to talk a little bit about this this track, The Gambler. How does that even come about? I mean, you know, you didn't know Howard Marks. Tell me how this track came about.
Well, we were at our manager's house and raiding a record collection.
Is that
Tracy
Contraband? Yes, the legendary Tracy Contraband.
And we come across this CD by the Popes, the New Church. We noticed that the 4th track was Throw Down Your Aces, which featured Howard Marks. The cover looks good, isn't it? It's a very interesting cover.
So then you heard that track
and we just knew we had to do something with it.
Yeah.
We just knew that we can make this a serious track. I mean,
well, I think Giles knew that we had to do something with it. At first, I didn't really kind of get what we could do, but we heard a few bits around that, and the intro vocals really stood out for me personally. That's what you were hearing. I didn't really. And so we kind of made it a bit more epic. Like chords like bam, and then get a bit more like. Intro was kind of a bit more EDM-y, but not quite. You know, we kept it back to the jungle roots and went a bit slower. Went 140, hence 140 BPM. So it was kind of like breaky tempo, but we still had the jungle kind of vibes in there.
And it's got like a punk feel to it, so it's quite like stomping.
Yeah, it's very raging.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's how we turned that original into that. It's kind of a whole new story, but it
was very
Well, I mean, you know, clearly very, very different from the original. You know, what you've done is you've sort of brought it right slap bang to now, and you know, for a sort of modern crowd. And I take my hat off to you because I've heard it, and it's really good. I really liked it.
Very loud.
It is very loud. You need to listen to it loud. You need to listen to it loud. Now look, we we've got to talk about the Phantom mix, because this is when I heard, and I've only heard a little bit of this story, so I'm really interested to hear what happened. It's quite spooky.
Yeah, I mean, it's never happened to you before, I'd say that. Well, it's a long story. On the 9th of April, we just got the EP masters on the 10th, the 1st of April, sorry. And I was visiting my friend's house to play him the new EP.
Yeah.
He's also a musician, so I wanted to get his opinion also, hear what his systems to make sure the mix, the master sound all good and everything like that. So yeah, as normally, I transferred the track on a USB, put it onto his computer. We were listening back to the first track, The Gambler, and 2 minutes 58 into the playback, some weird glitch sound happened, some sort of audio corruption or whatnot. No, I'd never heard that before, so I was immediately like intrigued. So was my friend there, Jai, who's there, and he even went as far as said, because is this Howard just died is the question, because we obviously knew what was happening, and yeah, I mean, obviously the next day was all cool. I went home. I found out on, I think must have been the Monday, that he died in the early on the 10th in the early hours on the Sunday. So the kind of that glitch occurring somewhat synchronizes with. I mean, he's very, very, very weird. I mean, yeah, I was pretty shocked about it, to be honest, at the time.
I mean, it does. It gives me shivers just think about it. What do you think happened? I mean,
well, I mean, I still don't know. I'm not too sure. I mean, what I did is I basically I went on the internet and asked people. So the first thing I did, I went on Reddit. I posted in a couple subreddits. I got a lot of feedback from people. I think it was the Reddit RBI, and also there's another one called Unsolved Mysteries. And basically that error can occur. So when you transfer a WAV file to another computer, so they explained that, but they couldn't explain the timing.
No.
So I looked a bit more into it, and I posted in a couple more alternative subreddits to find some more stuff out, and I got an interesting response. A guy, I mean, you never guess what his name is. His name on Reddit, all caps penis.
Oh my goodness! Really?
That's his name. Yeah, I mean, I didn't make it up. It's his name. But what he put people onto is Carl Jung's synchronicity, which he talks about events basically syncing with each other, which are not caused by each other, but they sync, and there's somewhat meaning in those syncing of events. Which I found really interesting. I mean, I've just ordered the book, which I'm going to have a read of.
So
but yeah, it was really a weird whole occurrence. I mean, it's never happened to me before. I've looked and no one's, in that circumstances, I haven't seen, it hasn't happened to anyone else with a recording and a glitch in it, synchronising with. So yeah, so
I mean, you know, that is weird, but I think, you know, that's a kind of good weird. I like to think, you know, that somehow, you know, Howard knew what was going on, and it was maybe his way of saying, I really like the track, guys, go for it. You know, I think let's just, I don't think we're ever going to know. Exactly. We're not going to know what it was, but yeah. So guys, what's next for you guys? What can we look forward to? I mean, first of all, when is the EP released? We need to get.
It's 24th of June.
24th of June. Brilliant.
So it'll be available on all retailers.
Yeah, fantastic. And you're going to have a launch party?
Yes, we are. We're invited, Robin.
Oh, good. My address. So what else? Are you gigging anywhere?
So the first one will be on the launch party. We're not planning any events until the launch party, and after that it'll be festivals to come over the summer.
Excellent.
Keep in touch, through our social media. Google Hitt+Run.
Brilliant. So if people want to find you and want to see what you're up to, all they need to do
is... We're on all the social media.
H-I-double-T.
Two T's.
Two T's.
Hitt+Run.
Hitt+Run.
Wicked. Okay, thank you so much, Anthony and Giles.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cheers, Robin.
Cheers.